we are here today with Carlos. Thank you for having us. Carlos is CEO and the founder of Product School, and Carlos also founded 3 companies in the education space. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us more what you are doing, more about you, your career, experiences?
Yes, so I'm the founder and CEO of Product School. I've created 3 companies in the education space, and I'm from Spain. I started my career there as a software engineer, building products myself, and I always wanted to do more than just coding. I wanted to understand why I was coding what someone was telling me to code, and at that time I didn't know that was called product management. So I kind of learned on the go while I was creating my companies. And here in the last company I've created, called Product School, we decided to teach product management for people that want to become product managers. And I started here in San Francisco, and then we opened campus in Silicon Valley and in New York.
And do you have any tips how to lead a development team when they are not at the same place, same country, different time zone?
That's really complicated because in my experience training product managers and working as a product manager myself, you need to communicate all the time with software engineers, with designers, with business teams. So if your team is spread across different time zones or countries, that makes the job more complicated. That's not impossible, but I always recommend to work in the same place if possible. Otherwise, there are great tools these days that can help you a lot. I personally use Google Hangouts and Slack every day, all day.
Could you tell us what is the biggest motivation for a company when recruiting a new product manager? What this person should have?
So product management is becoming very, very popular. Obviously, it's not new, but now more companies are recognizing the need of hiring someone to work directly with engineers, designers, and business teams. And what we found based on our experience helping our students get jobs in product is that there are 3 top skills that most of the companies are looking for. The first one is the industry expertise. Let's say you want to work at a health startup and you've never worked in health companies before. That's going to be almost impossible for you to get your first PM job in a health startup. So, but if you have experience working as a software engineer in that healthy startup or as a consultant or anything like that, it will be always easier for you to get your first product management job in that industry that you've worked before, even though you didn't work directly as a product manager. So that's the first thing, the industry domain. Second thing is the technical background. A lot of companies these days are looking for people that know how to code in order to become product managers. Well, it's not necessarily true that all the companies expect you to learn how to code as a product manager, but it's true that they expect you to be able to understand technology and to have conversations with your software engineers. If you have a CS degree or you've been a software engineer before, that's great, you have that, but if not, that's not impossible. You still have to learn enough in order to work with your software engineers and earn their respect. And the third thing is the communication skills. You are going to be spending most of your time explaining people what you want them to do versus doing it yourself. So it's a huge switch in terms of your mentality, because as a software engineer or as a designer or as a marketer, you spend most of your time executing and less time managing. As a manager, you're going to spend most of your time managing and communicating and explaining people what to do and less time executing.
What is the ideal ratio of software engineers and product manager in the team?
So we're specialized in software companies that build websites, mobile apps, software in general. The ratio we've seen varies depending on the company, but usually it goes between 5 to 10 software engineers for every product manager. I've seen companies that have up to 20 engineers and don't have any product manager. I've seen companies with 3 software engineers and 2 product managers, but in general, a good rule of thumb would be 5 to 10 engineers per product manager.
Could you tell us what is the greatest enemy of product managers?
Well, the greatest enemy, I believe, is saying yes to everything by default. As a product manager, you're always going to be tempted to build new stuff. And everybody has great ideas. Your engineers have ideas, you have ideas, your family has ideas, your data is telling you what to do next. At the end of the day, you have to filter all of that information and decide what it is your priority. And that implies to say no to probably 90% of really good ideas. So saying yes is probably the biggest enemy of a good product manager.
What kind of effectivity tools do you use? You mentioned Slack and Google Hangouts.
So I like Slack and Google Hangouts when I have to work with teams remotely, but in general I'm very agnostic in terms of the tools. Tools will change all the time. There are a lot of tools that when I started this company 2 years ago we were teaching and now they got updated. Now there are a lot of tools that we had to add to the curriculum because they didn't exist not even a year ago. From the product manager perspective, the key is to understand what you want to do and how to influence your team to make it happen. I always let my teams to pick tools or at least have an opinion on that because that also makes them commit to the real goal, which is to get things done. So a lot of tools out there, most of them are free or have free trials, and I'm flexible to pick whatever you think your team is more comfortable with as long as they get things done.
Do you have some tips for increasing effectivity or productivity as a product manager?
Yeah, so the thing that works the best for me is to try to keep parts of my calendar open. I know it is key to have meetings and communicate this, your vision with your team, but at the same time there are a lot of things that are going to happen and you need to make sure you have time to react on time. If you pack your calendar with meetings, at the end of the day there are always going to be new fires and then you are not going to have time to tackle them on time. So my best tip is try to keep 50% of my calendar open to new things that can come up.
Okay, and could you tell us how do you keep your team motivated?
Well, that's a really good question. I don't think I have a general answer for that. My biggest lesson learned building teams is that each person has different motivations. Obviously, I can understand some patterns, especially if you are a software engineer or a designer, can tell you for example, software engineers are especially motivated about building new stuff that are very challenging technology-wise, while usually business people are less motivated about technology and are more motivated about the return on investment. But even though, yes, you can find patterns, I've seen that I like to customize what it is that I can do for each individual in order to make sure that person is motivated. Sometimes this is helping people with more flexibility in terms of where to work or when to work. Sometimes it is more about buying special equipment for, let's say, software engineers because they want to have a special keyboard or things like that. So I don't have an exact answer for that. It's more about understanding each of your team members and seeing if there's something you can do to help them be more motivated.
Great. And if you would have to say one word or one piece of advice to other product managers, what it would be?
We work with a lot of aspiring product managers, and my best piece of advice for them is you have to build something. Especially if you want to break into product management or you want to create your own company and you don't have the experience, it doesn't really matter as long as you have the right attitude and you start building something. You have to start before you wait too much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
Nice, thank you.